Hello, 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 and welcome to Adjusting Crowns. I am so happy tonight. I am so excited. Tonight, good morning, good evening. It doesn't matter what time are you going to be watching this, but I am excited to have one of my soul sister, Monique Diltz. I hope I didn't mess up your last name.
Perfect.
And I like to call her my nourishing queen. She's all about food. She is a beautiful soul that I met throughout the experience of my nail salon a few years back. And
Yes.
we have not communicated constantly, but stay communicated in social media. And I've seen her story with her husband and her kids. And I'm going to let her introduce herself to you guys. Monique, share a little bit about your story. Thank you for being
Wow.
here.
Thank you so much, first of all, for this opportunity and for bringing me on to your platform. You've been doing some amazing things. So, thank you for what you're doing for our community and for women and just for the world. So, keep doing what you're doing. And wow, my name is Monique Dills. I've been a pharmacist now for oh gosh. Like 15 years. I've been in the industry for 18 years. It's crazy, I know. But I did have to step away to take care of our firstborn who was born with complications, as you know. He was born with cleft lip, cleft palate of he had a hole in his skull, and God had been calling me already prior to giving birth, even prior to getting married, honestly, to step away from the industry and pursue a more natural medicine route. However, I was terrified. I was scared. I didn't know how to just walk away from several years of school and just the amount of time and toil and work that it took to get the doctorate degree. You know how that is, and it was just a lot of work. So I just put the voice in the back of my head. But when God tells you to move, you got to move. Otherwise, you will get pushed out. Okay, and the push out is you don't want to get pushed out. Okay, so that's exactly what happened to me. Here comes, I get married to my wonderful husband further along the line, and then we have our firstborn, and God gave us an assignment. My son was born with complications. Now the call was even stronger to step away to be that primary care provider that he needed, because he had to have four surgeries at a tender age, just a few months old. The first surgery was at 5 months old, Amity. Okay, so 5 months, 13 months, 19 months old had to take him through. So I had to step away, and in that journey of stepping away, God was speaking to me again, right, for the call to pursue a more natural route. So I started sharing my journey with our son, and then that led into sharing the journey of healing foods to my husband, actually, at the time, further down the line, after having a couple more children, being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and he was also on high blood pressure medications. And that's when we took the journey of healing to where we are today, right? So he was healed from those conditions, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Beautiful,
That's a
beautiful,
shortened
beautiful.
version of it. Okay.
And I love it because I remember I met you when I did your nails before for your bridal shower before your wedding.
Yes.
And then as your journey began and you had your baby, and I remember going through all of this. And I do want to mention for everybody that comes to listen to this, you are the 1% of the beautiful women that have an amazing man. And of course, the journey is not
Oh,
peaches and cream. This is not, like, one of those Disney movies, but
you
we
already
can
know.
we could say he's willing and able, and that is a
Yes,
blessing.
he is. He is.
That is
He
a
is.
blessing.
I'm truly, truly grateful for him. We've been through a lot together, but it has made us unbreakable, because we
Yes.
had that experience together. So God really chose us, because I honestly couldn't see myself getting through what we went through, and still going through, with anybody else. And because we have been able to get through so many things, it's just made us stronger and just unstoppable. So God has called us now to share. So now I went from traditional pharmacist to now holistic pharmacist, where I share healing remedies, healing food, healing leaves, healing herbs, spices, everything that God has given us intentionally that we don't necessarily know how to use to heal our
Correct.
bodies.
Beautiful, beautiful. The month of January, it's a month of new beginnings. You know, we are
Yes.
sharing this podcast in the month of January for many women like you and me who are healing our families through the foods, through the journeys of understanding that God gave us a lot of medicine through healing plants and that this is there available for us. What will you share during the journey was the most impactful things that you started to do, changing the habits to heal?
So I love how you worded that, because everything that we do in life has become habitual, right? We do things by repetition, whether it's your morning ritual, your morning coffee, your morning tea, morning exercise, prayer, taking the kids back and forth to school, that kind of thing. Things are done out of habit, and eating is very habitual. It also goes back to even our childhood days, where we are used to certain tastes, certain textures, and we have to have those things, and it kind of gives us a comfort and we go into a place inside ourselves, right, that is comfortable, and we just
That's
need
why
to
they call it
feel that.
comfort food, right?
Exactly, and we
Soul
need to
food.
feel that. Right. But a lot of times, some of the habits that we have are not necessarily the best for our bodies, especially as we start to get older, because a lot of the foods that we take in can be inflammatory, and they end up causing the chronic health conditions that you may see over time, such as high blood pressure, diabetes, buildup of plaque in the arteries, high cholesterol, you have heart disease, so many things, pain, chronic inflammation, around the joints. So it's important to develop good eating habits where we're incorporating more alive foods, right? Foods that have energy that's going to flow through your body and heal your body, versus foods that are dead foods, right? So a lot of the processed foods. Okay. So once you're incorporating more alive foods into your body, making it a habit to do so, right? Also bringing in more oxygen into your body, making that a habit, stepping out into the fresh air, right? Getting
Sun.
the sunlight, okay? You know, intentional breaths outside.
Intention.
Like, we have to breathe deeply. We have to do that. So making those things a habit, right? So once you're incorporating more oxygenated foods, more oxygen from outside, right? You have more oxygen flowing through your bloodstream. So you have more healing flowing through your bloodstream.
Yes.
Yes, so that's what we did. When my husband was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, it was kind of like, wait a second, you just turned 40. Like, no, we have young children. Right now our children are age 3, 4, and 5, right? So I believe at that time it was like a new baby. It was like they were close in age, young children. It was like, we gotta do something about this. We have to figure out what is it that we need to change with our diet, what it is that we need to change with our habits, right? Intentionally exercising, getting that blood moving. That's something that is a big deal, because you could be eating great, which is a big part of it, but your body has to move. You got to get that blood circulating, because when the blood is standing still, guess what? The toxins are standing still. You got to get it moving so they can move out of your body, right?
There has to be a
So that's
flow.
another thing that we changed as well. We changed diet, we changed lifestyle, we changed exercising habits. We definitely made it more intentional about how we were going to move our bodies, walking, strength training, that sort of thing. Sunlight, grounding, putting your feet into the soil outside, okay? Getting that electric charge from the earth, getting that healing, right? We're supposed to be out there. So just incorporating all of those things, like it definitely had a huge
And you
healing
guys been
effect.
gardening for the grounding too, with the kids and
Yes.
everything, making it a family thing, right?
Absolutely. Yep. The kids are out there too. They help with the watering of the plants. They love it. They run because we collect rainwater too. So they run to the buckets and they get some and then they try to water the plants. It's so nice to see. And I kind of point to the different plants and I make them tell me which one is which so that they know, like, they could spot a
Yes.
tree and know, hey, that's a banana tree, or.
Yes.
So I think that's important for them too.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's incredible how just the healing elements from outdoors has such a big impact on overall health. And we don't utilize it enough. We're not outside, we're inside. It's cold right now. I understand. But, during that part of the day when the sun is out or even trying to peek out, just get out there, you know?
I
Get
think
out
when
there.
we change the habits, you mentioned breath work. You mentioned, the breath of God. We are the breath of God, Yahweh,
Yes.
the breath of
Mhm.
God in us. And sometimes just being still for a minute and
Yes.
touching within and saying, am I eating because I'm emotionally treating myself with food like an animal? Or am I eating
Mm.
because I am going to nurture my body with love because I'm honoring the temple where Yahweh, the breath of
Right.
life, lives in me? Because then
Right.
it's a decision of, am I honoring my temple with the food I'm eating, or
Right.
am I self sabotaging the imposter syndrome of just eating
Mm.
to please the human flesh and not the
Mhm.
body in me? And that really was really good when you said, the breath. Just stop for a minute and, what am I eating? Is this food that I'm eating alive? I love that you said that too,
Mm.
because a lot of times we're just eating box food and sugars and, contaminated, genetically modified stuff. We're not
Mhm.
realizing that a lot of times it takes for us to stop for a minute and say, is this going to serve my body?
Right. 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 Exactly. We have to bring God in everything, even into our food. Well, that's another major thing that we incorporated as well. We went back to God. Like, God, what should we do? Right? What should we do? And God showed us that he gave us the fruit for our food, right? I always share that verse. The fruit for our food, and then the leaves from that same fruit tree are for our healing. So
Yes.
you can eat the mango, right? The mango has many nutritious properties. And then the wonderful mango leaves are amazing for the body. Healing for blood sugar. We talked about this for immune boosting. It has so many healing properties. You just take the leaves and you make a tea out of it. So we just went back to the word and asked God to show us how to eat and just how to take care of our temple, because this is where God resides, right? If you want God to be in here, you can't put trash in here. You can't put trash in the temple. How many times we seen God get upset when there was trash in the temple, in the physical temple? So much less your body, like your body is the temple of the Lord. And once you revere it as such, you really will start to look at your food differently, especially when you start seeing results. It's kind of like, all right, you don't believe it? Try it. Try it. And I'm telling you, you will see results within the same day, even just of how you feel. And then within the week from your lab work, and then the months. I mean, off of high blood pressure medication in 2.5 months, two medications, my husband. And I'm talking about A1C went from diabetes, pre-diabetes to normal. 7 months, right? It is
It's
possible.
possible.
You just have
It is
to
possible.
stick
Yes.
to the foods that God gave us to heal. We take in a lot of things that make our bodies work so hard. And then another thing too, we don't give our bodies a break, which is why I love fasting, because fasting is an intentional break. It's an intentional break from whatever it is you want to fast from. But if you're going to fast from food, which is what we're going to do, you give your body a chance now to heal. So our bodies were made to heal. You cut your arm, outside, whatever it is, immediately you start seeing working, working, working. And sometimes it takes a couple of days or, however long it takes. But do you know if you stop eating, it will heal even faster? Because your body has to use so much energy to digest. Oh, something came in. Okay, where can I put it now? This needs to go here, this needs to go there, and it distributes the food that you put in. So if you're constantly doing that, when are you going to give your body a chance to heal? It will still heal. It just takes a little bit longer, right? So when you practice fasting, you give your body a break. All right. No food is coming in. Now I can go over here and look at the liver. Let's see what's going on. Let me see what's going on with the kidney now. Let's look at this blood sugar level now, right? Insulin doesn't need to be released anymore, right? Because it doesn't need to get blood sugar levels down and distribute glucose to the brain, right? So because it's not doing that, empathy, right? You now go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive, right? It can happen and quick too. You just got to give your body a chance to do it. And a lot of times we feel like, "Oh my goodness, I can't even go like half of a day without eating." But believe me, you can do it. You can do it. Now,
One of the
there's
things that
different
I
fasts.
learned
There's
when
different.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no,
Now, I was gonna
you.
say there's different fasts. We did a water fast for the first time. I think you saw it on my page, but you can just do fruits, vegetables. Ease your way in, but just remove the foods that are difficult to digest. Literally take hours to days to digest, and give your body a chance to digest things that are quick and easy, like the fruits and the vegetables. Those are the primary things, and you're going to see such a huge difference. You're not going to feel weighed down. You're not going to feel sluggish and tired. You feel that tiredness because your body is literally draining what it can from you to digest that food that's in your body.
And it's true what you said. Sometimes food will stay in your stomach 2 to 3 days, and it depends on your
Yes.
metabolism and in your nervous system. One of the things that I learned was stop for a minute and think. If my nervous system, if I'm stressed and I'm eating, how is that food gonna feel in my body? It'll take even
Yeah.
harder for me to digest it. So sometimes,
Right.
like when I started learning, going through the fasting and the journey and eating, not for pleasing the body, but for longevity. For
Right.
longevity.
Right.
We're eating for
It's a different way
longevity.
of
We're not
eating.
running a race. We're living, we're not surviving or
Right.
existing. We're being conscious of how we're feeding our
Right.
body. And that's why
Right.
we're changing our habits, because we know there's healing in the food. And it is possible
Right.
if you know how to feed your tempo. And I don't want people to think that are coming here to listen to me and to you is this is not a one box fits all. Everybody's
Right.
tempo
Right.
is different. Females'
Right.
bodies are different from males. Kids' bodies
Absolutely.
are different. And
Mhm.
intuitively, we know what we want and what we don't. We just need to stop and listen to the
Right.
spirit inside of us when it tells us you shouldn't eat that. And we're like,
Right.
oh, but I want
Mhm.
it.
Right. We can't even hear our bodies anymore screaming at us, telling us, "Hey, no, don't do that." Or, "I'm having some pain here or I'm inflamed here," or, we can't even hear anymore because we're drowned out by the food and of course all the other distractions.
We
All
were
the other
talking about
distractions.
social media, the noises, the
It's
commercials, the
heavy. It's heavy.
competition, the self
It's
sabotaging,
heavy.
which is also something that we need to
Yes,
fast
yes, yes.
sometimes.
Yes. It's heavy. It's so heavy. It's a lot. Like, I know there's so many that look at even my generation, but I look at the children and just like they are like handed screens at a tender age, like 5 and under. Like my 5-year old in kindergarten, he takes his test on the tablet. And, of course they encourage you to have a tablet at home, but it's like when I was 5, I didn't know anything about a tablet. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a totally different generation. And yes, technology is great, but then when it literally starts to take over, that's when we have the problems. Yeah. And then you're
Beautiful.
consuming. You're just consuming. We were created to create. God has a bit of his creativity in each of us. We just That's our purpose, right? So your purpose inside of you is a piece of God's creativity to fulfill, right, his plans for the world. Everybody has that. You were created by God, it's in you. Now, some of us may have quieted that voice and it's just to the side, right? But it's still there, right? We just have to bring it out. And I truly feel that a lot of times we just consume, content. We're consuming
We eat
social
food
media
by for
instead of
anxiety
creating.
instead
That's what
of
I'm saying. We're
creating.
consuming food, we're consuming all this media instead of creating. We should be creating more. That's what we are called to do. To create, you got to create more than you consume. So even in the like gardening,
What
right,
I
is
see you
trying to
saying
create.
is we need to be doing this, and instead of doing this, we're doing this.
Right, exactly.
Instead of doing this, let's
Exactly.
go and do. Gimme, 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 gimme,
Beautiful.
gimme, 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 and it
Exactly.
gets
Beautiful.
heavy.
Beautifully said. Yeah.
It-
Yeah. Why do you think obesity is on the rise? Right? Why do you think diabetes is on the rise in the younger generation? Okay? I'm talking about like 20s, 30s, even teens, right? High blood pressure on the rise. It's like like you said, we're doing this, we're not doing that. So we're not moving our body, right? They just want us to kind of sit and just kind of be like all day, or even on the computer, it's like we're not moving our bodies. We're not thinking about what we should do. Things are being told to us. Maybe you should do this. Now we got AI thinking for us and assisting us to do the. But then it doesn't make you use your brain like you were created to use it. So
It
it's
turns
just
you
so
off. You're like a zombie. And then you spend
yeah,
hours and hours and hours shutting off with like the self sabotage and the whatever that is because you work on the phone, you read your mail on the phone, you get your messages
yep,
on the phone, you talk on the
yep,
phone, and your distraction is the phone, right? You watch
yep,
Netflix or a movie on the phone. So when we were talking about fasting in the month of January, and I said, listen, Monique, we're gonna fast some food because a lot of times the journey within going in the self sabotage and going into the pillar of purpose is let me start with the food because it's the easiest thing that I'm able to take control and go, wait a second, why am I eating, self inflicting this pain and self giving me inflammation with food, milk, or other stuff
right.
that we know that it's not the food that my body needs?
Right, absolutely. So I applaud you and the ladies that you'll be taking this journey with. It's so important to fast to give the body a chance to heal. I like to call it a vacation. You work so hard throughout the year and you schedule your vacation, right? So the same way you work so hard and then you schedule that time off because you need it to rest, that's exactly what a fast is for your body. You're giving your bodies a chance to rest.
The
That's self
cleanse.
care at the ultimate level. Giving your body, you got to schedule a fast just like you schedule a vacation
Yes.
so that your body has a chance to heal.
And I love
And
that
then
you
guess
said
what?
that you guys are
Once you
practicing
have
it.
done that, right? After you go on vacation, don't you come back feeling refreshed? You know, sometimes you need a
Ready to do
vacation
it
from the
again.
vacation, right?
Yeah.
But you come back ready, right? So
Yes.
just think about your liver, think about your digestive system, think about your organs, you know, like they'll come back ready now. It's like, yeah, we had a good break. So let's get to work again, you know? But if it is constantly cranking out crap, you are literally going to be inflamed. You're going to feel tired all the time. You're going to feel sluggish simply because your body needs that break and you're not giving it that break.
One of the things that you said that I'm going to piggyback on was that you said, 7 days, 21 days, every quarter you do a fast, you do a cleanse, you get ready even for your birthday. You're like, I'm going to do a fast before
Yeah.
my birthday. That when my birthday come, I celebrate me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, well, this year we're going to be more consistent. We're going to make a commitment to doing it every quarter. I think last year we did it 3 times. We did it January, we did it June, I believe, June or July, and then we did it again in November. But we're going to do every 3 months. So that's every quarter of the year
And you
coming
do
up.
different types of
So
fast too.
we do. We do. So we just did a water fast the other day. We did it for 3 days. Brutal. But, it really made me so appreciative for even a piece of fruit, Emily. Like to have a piece of fruit, like I could almost cry having it because we take food for granted. We really do. You know, there are so many people that do not, that live that. They live that. They don't eat for an extended period of time, right? So just to have that experience, it wasn't just physical, it was very spiritual. You can't get through that like on flesh alone. You got to get through that on the spirit and just tapping in there spiritually. Just when I was able to break that fast and have that moment, it was the best apple like ever in life. And my husband was like, oh my goodness, this is the best apple that I've ever had because we hadn't eaten in 3 days, you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
we did the water fast, and then we also do a fruits and vegetables where we'll just eat only fruits and vegetables for a certain period of time. And then we have where we'll add nuts and seeds along with that as well. So it's just different stages, but
Yes.
primarily the whole foods, right? We're not, well, we're vegan. So we don't do like, meat and dairy and things like that, oil. But oil is a big thing too. Oil. Oil is in everything, Emily. Everything, and it literally can break down your vascular system. And that's why when you have a lot of it, you're building up your triglycerides, your cholesterol levels, all of those things, which are leaving plaques, right, along your vascular. And then you can have high risk of stroke and that sort of thing. So you want to have a fast from the oil too. So we do that. We make oil-free dressings. So if we want to dress up our salad, we'll just do it, but without the oil. All right. So it's just mainly alive foods. You're gonna find that when you take a break from the dead foods, right? Including animals. I'm gonna say that because you'll find that when you decrease the use of that in your body, right? You're giving your body a chance to have a break because it does take time to break down animal tissue. It just does. That's what it is. All right. But if you're gonna, I always tell people that have less of it. I understand everybody can't be vegan. Everybody can't take meat out of their diet, but have less of it. You're gonna feel
Yeah.
better. You feel tired because your body is just trying to digest that, and it takes a little bit of time, right? The processed foods that literally have been stripped of all of its nutrition, you want to get rid of that So fasting overall is absolutely 1000% what everybody needs to do, especially as you are getting older in life. The
Yes.
older that you get, the less you should weigh. I always tell my husband that, like, every decade of life, you should be weighing less. You shouldn't be weighing more, because you're going to give your body a chance, right, to have a break. Your heart is weaker. So if you're giving your body more work to do every single decade, you're going to wear down your body a lot faster. So that's why if you are able to, even if it's 5 pounds, you're able to weigh less every decade, you give your body less work to do. And then you find out you're move. You say, ever see some people
You
in their
said
80s
something about
moving
moving.
around,
That's where we're going
you
now, the
know?
movement. I like what you
Yeah.
said about moving because you don't. I recently started going back to the gym, and it was a big thing for me, even though throughout my whole life I had seasons where I went through the gym, I went walking, I went to, the Altamont Lake Park, whatever.
Yeah, I
But
love it over
recently,
there.
me and my son in law had a conversation where he said, this is a longevity walk. 30
Hmm.
minutes, as long as you get up and you walk 30 minutes, every day, we don't need to go and be a physiculturist. I don't need to be a trainer in a
Right.
gym, but at least
Right.
get up and move from the desk and move, because whether it is watching TV or whether it is sitting in the computer working, our
Right.
bodies are so stagnant that we don't realize it. And what I've
Right.
noticed is, for me, this is my personal testimony. Now, I used to go to the gym and fight with Carlos. We used to go to the gym, and why do I gotta go to the gym? I can't believe, because I like chocolate, I gotta go to the gym, right? I had a pity party. The little girl in me used to be so mad. But now the divine feminine and highly me goes, I need to go to the gym and train the enemy in me, because the
Mm,
energy that I move when I go to the sauna and I give myself that time when I go to the gym and I run or I walk or whatever, it really shifts the way I eat too. So I've
yeah,
noticed that when I go to
yeah,
the gym, 30,
yeah,
45 minutes, an hour, it depends. I don't have to compete. I don't have a high standards. I'm not training for a marathon or anything.
yeah, yeah.
But
Just
me and
get in
Carlos
there.
go every morning, and it's part of the success of my story is, yeah, we go to the gym. We got to move because it's mental health. It helps us be better
Yes.
humans.
Everything, everything. I love all of that. It absolutely helps with everything. Blood flow, circulation, more oxygen, right? Where there's more oxygen, there's more healing. So we got to get it into our body. That's the thing. We
Yes.
got to move. We got to move. And that's another thing with me, too. Yes, I try my best to make an effort to move, but I could definitely move a lot more than I
Yes.
do. Yep, you go out to the garden, that kind of thing. I do try to walk around, but I want to make a commitment, not a resolution, right? I want to commit to moving every day if I can, 30
Yes.
minutes
Choosing,
at least.
choosing.
And
One
it's
of the
so
things
much
that,
more critical as you go through each decade of life, so that when you're in your golden years, right, you are moving and you are just, because you treated your body so well. You gave it what it needed. You fed it what it needed. You took the time for rest, right?
yes,
Not just sleeping, but for digesting, right? You gave your digestive system a break, And you find that as you get older too, you don't need to have 3 heavy meals a day. That is what is killing us, Emily. I'm telling you.
especially, listen, I started keto. I don't remember what was the year that I started keto, but I was very overweight. I was 230 pounds and I'm 145. And it's been a
Wow.
journey of healing
Amazing.
my thyroids with natural medicine, healing breast
Mhm.
lumps with natural medicine, healing my carpal
Wow.
tunnel without no surgery.
Ooh,
Because,
that's
like you
amazing.
said, since we've met each other, we knew there was a higher calling more than just you in
Absolutely.
the pharmaceutical and me in the beauty industry. It was a higher calling
Yeah.
to a greater purpose of
Yeah.
it's bigger
It's
than
in
just
you.
being a human. It's
Right.
showing up with the purpose of who God created us to be and
Right.
how God is calling us
It's
to
here.
show up for other people too.
Right. It's all here. We are an extension of God's purpose. It's right here. Like his creativity is right in us. We're created to create, which is why when you are working a certain job that you may not like, um it will bother you because deep down inside you want to do what God has
You're
called you to do.
blocking. You're blocking with the purpose of God because you're positioned in a place that doesn't belong to you. And everything
Absolutely.
and anything will and could happen until you realize. That's why they say the body has messages. And
Yep.
whether it is high blood pressure, whether it is diabetes, in my culture, years ago they used to say God will test you with disease and illnesses. But it
Mm.
wasn't really that. It's that the spirit realm will speak through the body what is going on with the temple. That's why it's really
Mhm.
important that you fast and that you see, hear, and listen to,
Yes.
God speaking to us, because God will lead you and tell you, don't eat that. You shouldn't, but we're so
Listen.
busy that we don't do it and we just shove it down.
Mhm. Right. One of the biggest distractions the enemy uses is food.
Yeah.
1000%. Because,
People think
even
it's
when you
drugs
look
or
at,
alcohol, but it's food.
yeah, food. Food is
Sugar,
the number one
candy,
drug.
cake. Yeah, we
Yes,
we treat
absolutely.
ourselves with food like if we were animals. Here, let me give
Yes.
you a treat. Here, let me give you a
Right.
treat. It used to be we used to have
Right.
one cake a year for your birthday. Now we have cake every day.
Right. This is what's after dinner. Dessert. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
then you go to bed with the whole full of sugar, and then you wonder why your nervous system
Oh,
is having nightmares of,
right.
Elm Street and all of that. And you're like, I wonder what's going on with my nervous system. I'm having
Right.
panic attacks. I'm having, I'm having stress, depression, and anxiety. It's like, what are
Right.
you eating? Tell me, what did you eat last night? What was in
Exactly.
the sauce in
Exactly.
McDonald's? Chick-fil-A sauce.
Mm.
What were we
Just throw
eating?
it away.
Because what was the Golden Corral? What were the
Oh my
corral that
goodness,
you were
yes.
in? Was it a pig corral? I'm so sorry, but
Right.
we're not realizing that all
No.
of these places are making money, and they're buying
Yes.
cheap food and they're selling cheap because they
Yep.
want to make their profit, and
Right.
out of 99 cents bag of French fries. Can you tell me what's the ROA on what? What are their
Right.
fries made on, so we can have that return? Because I'm feeding
Okay.
that to my family when I'm insta gratified, coming really fast out of doing quick things and not realizing, like you said, is food what's
Mhm.
killing us, but we don't know.
Oh, it's 100%. And, our culture just has to see, we're so busy with our day to day that we're not looking at food labels. We're just kind of picking up stuff on the shelf and just throwing it in our cart. Oh, I had that in my childhood. I'm all right. It should be okay for my kids. But, you know, a lot of things that were made back then, they are totally genetically modified now, and it's literally because of maybe the demand for it, or just they're able to get more return for their money on using cheaper products, that sort of thing. So you have to look at food labels. You got to look at
Yes.
food labels so that you know exactly what you're putting in your body. But we're just on the go, 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 and we're not taking the time to look at the totality of things when it comes to our health.
That is so true, so true. Monique, I want to thank you for your time, but before we leave, I want
Yes,
to
of course.
let you share your information with the people that comes to the podcast and is listening to you. Please do share your information.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much again for this invitation and for a chance to speak. And, blessings for your fast. God bless you and the group that you'll be taking through this physical journey, but it's most definitely spiritual, because you have to tap into God to make it through just abstaining from the things that give you comfort, the things that you associate even with comfort. So, blessings on your journey. I know it's going to be great. You can find me on my website, of course, moniquedilts.com. I know you'll put everything in the
Yeah.
description. Also on Instagram, I'm there, Monique Diltz. I'm probably heavily on there. YouTube, Holistic Wellness with Monique Diltz. That's my channel. And I'm also on Facebook as well.
You recently did an ebook, right, for diabetes?
Yes. Recently released the ebook for diabetes. Thank you. Tackle. It's called Tackle Diabetes: A Holistic Approach. So there are so many gems in there that God has given me to share that we've tried with my husband, and I've also been able to try it with several other clients that I've been working with. And it is amazing. I'm talking about healing leaves, herbs and spices, things that you can do to help with your blood sugar if it's not under control.
And a
So
lot of your
that,
videos and
my
everything is
goal
on your
and my
website.
purpose is to help people utilize food to heal so that we don't have to be dependent on medication, especially if the medication is doing more harm to our body than good.
Yes. And the body was made to heal itself.
Absolutely. It can 1000% do that. And a lot of the things, a lot of the problems that we have come from eating. So you find that when you fast and you take breaks, your body just wakes up and it's wait, no food is coming in.
Mm.
All right. We can breathe a little bit. Let's focus on something in our body that needs healing. The pain over here, the inflammation over here, the blood sugar issues. That's one of the first things to regulate. Blood pressure, one of the first things to regulate. Swelling, if you got water in your feet. When you're eating a lot of processed carbohydrates, especially the ultra processed, you're going to hold on to water, and a lot of that is going, especially if you're sitting down all day, is going to pull right in those legs. Okay.
Yes.
So once you eliminate that, you're going to see with fasting, all of that goes. All of that goes. And then another thing that I teach on my page, I'm drinking it now, is lemongrass. Lemongrass, God gave it to us. It helps eliminate water. That's one of the first things that I saw with my husband. When we started fasting, the water in his feet, it started to go.
Beautiful,
Started to go.
beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
sharing your
much.
story. Thank you so much for
Yes,
being vulnerable. Thank you for what you
of
do,
course.
for everything you're
To
writing.
God be the
It's
glory.
like you're a light in the middle of this humanity, and it's beautiful to see
That's
you as a
you.
bridge between you and God, because
Oh,
we talked
thank
about
you.
this for many years and we saw this coming. We saw your
Whew.
project, your community. We saw your gifts
Oh my
bringing
goodness.
back, coming from a place of science, having your diplomas, your degrees, your doctors, and coming out and saying, hey, there's another way, there's a better way. We don't have to settle for the old Western way. There's another way, and we found the way, and we've used it, and we have the results, and now we're sharing it with the world. So
Yes,
thank you so much.
absolutely.
That's the most beautiful thing that you
To
could be
God be the
doing and
glory.
leaving for the future, the youngest community, because also your kids learning will be also the ones going out there and sharing with other kids. Hey, no, we do it in a different
Absolutely.
way. And I like that you
Absolutely.
said, listen, I'm vegan. You don't have to be, but you could try not eating meat for a certain time and you could see how it works with your
Absolutely.
body, because not
Hmm.
human was created equal. We're all made unique. We're all
Right.
made at an
Absolutely.
image equally to God. And I am just like you, I am a spirit having a human body,
Experience.
a
Right.
venture in this world. So I have to be
Right.
aware of certain things will work for you, certain things will work for me, and it's
Right.
okay, because if it
Absolutely.
works for you and it makes you happy, praise God for that.
Praise God. You have to go where God leads you.
Leads you.
And all you could do is just do what your body is telling you to do,
Yes.
and just go on that path of healing.
And listen to the voice of God when the body is talking to you, because like you said, I heard the voice, I heard the calling many times, but I was,
Absolutely.
self-sabotaging, or maybe having the fear of what if, could if somebody else think about me. But hey, here you are, a healer that heals with natural medicine, and hiding my gift, because God forbid what anybody else can think about what how I could bring healing into the world, right? And it's
Hey, it was
beautiful.
it was scary, but I'm still still getting there.
We all are. It's like,
You
it's a
know,
journey of
I
everyday
don't think I would
understanding.
ever be there. It's one of those things, you're always going to be learning and God is always going to be showing you and making you into the person that he desires for you to be. So it's always going to be, a learning process. I don't think I will ever be like there, cuz then
You
how can you
have the
stop learning?
hunger.
How can you stop learning? You
You have
can't.
the hunger. And once you have that
You got to
hunger,
keep
it's
it.
like you're starving for it. It's a fire inside of you. You're like,
Yes.
wait,
Yes.
no, my husband, I understand it because I see the light in you. And I know we've talked
Oh,
about this before. When you have the hunger, you're like, wait a minute. Anything else in the world really doesn't matter more than this hunger that God put in my heart. And it's a desire
absolutely.
to want to be the light in many other women to see us and be like, oh, she did it. She's been through the valley of the shadow of death. Like you said, Amity really hasn't been easy.
Yes.
And trust me, I've had 3 marriages, 7 kids. I'm a stepmom. I'm the boss. I'm the stepmom. I'm the boss of everybody. But here I am saying, but it's possible. And yes, you could
Yeah.
do it. And yes, you could make it happen. And yes, there could be healthy
Mhm.
relationships. And yes, you could heal the mind, the body, and the soul. We don't have to
Yes,
be in survival
absolutely.
mode. And that's one of the reasons why I want to say thank you again for coming to Adjusting Crowns. This is
Absolutely.
part of
Thank you
what
for
I
having
do.
me.
Thank you so much for your time.
God
Thank
bless
you, thank you,
you.
thank you. Thank
Yes,
you for
and
everybody
we'll
that
talk
came
soon.
tonight, today, or this morning and listened to us. Thank you for the follows, the likes, and the shares. And also go and follow, like, and share Monique and her family. Let's support each other and be the bridge that we need for the world to be a better place. Thank you so much.